Welcome to day 5 of 1 year of meditating and being off of Facebook or just limiting my Facebook and cleaning. I'm starting to be able to discover that when I'm connected to myself, it sounds like a vague thing, and let me explain what that means. I think a lot of people hear that and go, what's alignment mean? But I'll just say this first. When I'm connected to myself, I'm realizing it absolutely doesn't matter what I do or eat or anything. I can see my body is changing. And part of the reason sometimes that it had a hard time before, like I feel my skin getting clearer, I feel the bags under my eyes leaving. I think that we've really been bombarded with information that makes our subconscious almost positive that there's a certain way to do something. Meaning it's not great to eat bad food, but we believe even more that we should feel guilty when we eat a certain food. So when we do, we go, I ate this, I shouldn't have eaten it. We feel this unconscious, that we believe in our soul is the truth, this stress. And then that's the problem, that we are against what we're doing and we aren't aware that we can go to a place where we are connected to ourselves. So we're actually almost all day at war with ourselves because almost every single thing in the world has a you should do this or you shouldn't do this. You can find why you shouldn't do almost anything. And when I sit and I meditate, I notice my voice going, you should do this, you should do this. And it's finding all these external thoughts that it learned from somewhere, that it heard from someone, you should work out this way or never do this or don't eat this kind of food or don't do this. And so it's not only the food or the action that we take or, that you should sleep 8 hours. You feel guilty if you only slept 5. There's so many things that we're always worried about that we are doing wrong. We've heard that vaccines can cause something or not vaccinating can cause something. So there's someone that's always thinking they're doing it wrong. There's fillings in your teeth or leaking mercury into your system. Now that's one thing, but what's so much worse is if you're fighting yourself all day thinking that's the problem. When I meditate, I hear all of those shoulds show up, and I hear this part of me that looks at before and thinks I shouldn't have done that, and then it goes, well, I'll fix it with this, and it starts to fight itself and go, if I just drink a ton of water in the future and I just do this stuff, then I'll fix this problem that I believe to be the truth. But the real problem is that I think that what I did was a problem. So it's a fascinating thing because I'm constantly, before the meditation, in a place where I believe almost everything I'm doing is wrong. So I spend each moment in a place of fight or flight. And when you get really motivated, you go through this achiever type mindset. You sit here and think of all the ways you're going to fix it. But you don't notice that the truth is maybe nothing's broken except for you believe everything you're doing is wrong. And you believe what you're doing is bad. And you believe that you shouldn't be watching TV or you shouldn't be doing these things. So there's a subconscious belief about everything we do that we shouldn't be doing this or I'm bad, I'm eating this, I'm doing this, whatever it is. And then we give ourselves all this guilt and we walk around like crazy people feeling helpless because we believe what we did is wrong versus being okay with ourselves. And then wanting to fix our helplessness by thinking of whatever solution we're going to come up with. And that's not happening right now. So you're in the future ignoring now. I find that when I meditate, I start to become okay with all of me. I forgive all of my past. I don't need to get anywhere, and I really start to get here. And weirdly, when I listen to my body, it tells me the next thing to do in my life. It tells me, go work, go do something productive, or go work out, or don't. Sometimes, in days that I would have absolutely worked out, I find my body sometimes is like, no, you need to rest more. And you start to actually lose all those external cravings because one of the reasons we have all of these addictive cravings is because we believe we aren't supposed to do it. So there's an ego trying to overcome this subconscious belief that you shouldn't be doing something. So if you feel guilty about something, you all the time are going to want the thing because you think you shouldn't have it. So when you start to meditate and you start to connect with yourself, you hear all these crazy thoughts, and it goes to your subconscious, and your subconscious like, we shouldn't do this, or even we shouldn't be meditating because we should be getting work done because I feel guilty if I'm not working all the time. And we don't realize that meditating actually is one of the most productive things we could be doing. For me, it sure is. As long as you do it. If you're not doing it, don't feel guilty about that, because that's the thing. People go, I'm not meditating enough, and now you're doing the same crap. For me, it's so important to sit with my thoughts and notice all these subconscious beliefs that I'm doing things wrong. And then notice them and love them, and you start to be this infinite space that loves all of these parts of you that you think aren't doing things right, and watching them leave. And then you start to feel connected to now. And in that place, you feel really connected to the moment, yourself, your body, and it tells you what to do next. And I think one of the biggest problems is we have this total subconscious belief that we think are the truth. There's people that go, no, what I know is true. Studies show that if you eat this thing, you blah, blah, blah. Studies show that about everything. There's no argument for one way that you can't hear an argument for the other way. So we constantly, you could find like you should eat a lot of kale. No, you should. Why kale's really bad for you? Which means that all these studies might be not the only truth. And maybe every person has their own truth, and maybe they can actually hear and do the research here and hear what their actual calling is, because I feel healthier than ever, and I'm not limiting myself as much. I'm not going, I can't do this, I can't do this. I notice my body just naturally wants to eat crazy good. This isn't just about eating. Change that to the addiction to working. Change that to the addiction to Facebook. All of these things, might not be the truth. And as I sit and I get more and more present in the moment, I don't have to do the stuff that I feel is forcefully productive, and the byproduct is I'm being way more productive. I'm so much more present. I don't have to do retakes over and over. As I get more connected to myself, I don't need to hold on to all these old things from my past. I've had so much fun cleaning the house and letting go of a lot of old things, because old things from my headlining days as a stand-up comic. Someone asked me not too long ago, don't you want that for your kid? And I always think to myself, I think my kid would rather have my presence, my centeredness, not me just going, look at, I was a famous comic 20 years ago or whatever it was. I'd rather actually be a space because I'm clearing out all these things. But that's because my soul wants that, not because I think I should to get somewhere. That's the difference. If you think you should do something to get somewhere, then you're a slave to yourself. I gotta work out because my body won't. Okay, now you're a slave. But if you listen to your body and it goes, I need to get my heart going because I want to. Now you're listening to your body. That's different. So if you think you should do something to get somewhere, you're a slave in your mind. And you're feeling guilty if you don't do what you thought you should do. Notice how many things you should do in your mind. How if you wake up, you better go work out, and you're scared to not work out, now you're a slave. So when we really sit and listen, every day my body tells me something totally new. And it goes, I want to do this right now, not I should do it later so that I don't feel like crap later in the day. I want to do this. And then you start to slip into more and more of harmony with your body because you do what it's telling you. This is what meditation does for me. It causes me to be always more and more and more here. And every time I feel any should or resistance, I gotta meditate. I get to meditate and transcend those feelings and be just this space. So that's what's happening for me. And I notice with, when I used to have a coffee, I would feel like I shouldn't have had that. I read a study about caffeine and feel like these bags show up under my eyes. And I actually think it's much more not about the coffee, but much more about me thinking I shouldn't have done that and then being in a war with myself. So it's toxic to do certain things, but it's much more toxic to be against yourself. And that doesn't mean now go do all the addictive stuff. That means connect to yourself and hear what your heart wants, what your soul wants. Don't like prove that wrong by just going to do a ton of addictive stuff. Instead, like actually sit and close your eyes and notice all the beliefs that start to show up separate from you. And as you sit there and notice them, you realize that they're old conditioned patterns that you think are the truth. And as you sit there, you'll notice they aren't the truth and they start to leave, and you're just left here with this moment. And then callings start to show up. New business ideas, new loving things, new just habits. And you start to become a different person. And then you don't say anymore, well, this is just me. I always have to, I'm a meat eater. I have to do this. This is just me. That's not you. That's what you were. This is just me. I'm a messy person. This is just me. I'm a procrastinator. That's what you were. At any point, you're something new. So that's what I'm going through right now. Learning what I actually am more and more, and letting go of all of the stuff that I'm not. And it's never ending.